We are about to reveal to you the top 5 superfoods that the best trainers and coaches love to recommend to their clients because it gives them the best results. Let's go. Superfood.
Most interesting part about this is I don't know if you were to Google 10 superfoods, I'm not sure.
Yeah, would these all pop up?
Definitely
I think one
not.
of them would.
Maybe 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah.
So I'll start.
How come
These are unique.
Normally, as I say, normally you have a title like that. These are the most unique.
Okay, so let me give you the first superfood just so people aren't like, tuning out. And then we'll back up and explain what's going on here. So the first superfood is grass-fed beef. It's extremely nutrient dense.
Yeah.
In fact, you could, and I'm not saying do this, but you could eat just beef forever and nothing else, and you'll probably never get a nutrient deficiency.
Especially grass-fed.
And you really can't say that for pretty much any other food.
Yeah. Not just the one food item.
No.
I can't think of anything else.
No. All right, let's back up for a second. Superfood has been completely bastardized.
Agreed.
It is
It's on every magazine, you see it all over the place.
It's a marketing term, and they'll pick some random nutrient and say this food provides this thing. The more exotic and weird the food is, the more likely it is to be labeled a superfood.
Yep.
In reality, a superfood is something that gives you lots of nutrients, that is easy to digest, because it doesn't matter. A rock is a super mineral food, but you can't eat a rock. It's not going to do anything for you. It needs to be accessible, because who cares if I, name some leaf in the Himalayas that you can only get at a particular, nobody's going to eat it. Why were you talking about it? Okay. Unless I'm trying to package it and sell it as a supplement, which is what they also do. It needs to be accessible, easily digestible. In other words, digestible for most people, because who cares otherwise? Are you going to eat it? Is it something that you would actually eat? And again, is it nutrient dense? Does it provide wide-ranging health benefits backed up by not just data is very important, but also by experience? And we train lots and lots and lots of people. And so the foods that we listed here are the ones that we just noticed bang for buck. Like when we had our clients eat these foods regularly, we just saw improvements in their performance and their health and their fitness and their fat loss, muscle gain, everything. And at the top is grass-fed beef. When I had clients who didn't eat beef or who ate conventional beef and switched to grass-fed, or especially people who didn't eat beef, and this was more often female clients than male clients, when I would have them switch to grass-fed beef and include it in their diet on a semi-regular basis, at least 3 days a week, they would notice strength gains. We would see their blood markers improve. Energy would improve. And they would all come to me and comment on it. They come to me and say, you told me I would feel better eating beef more regularly. I have been. And I tell you what, my energy's up and I'm sleeping better. And it's high in B vitamins. There's good iron content in there. It's one of the most nutrient complete foods you can find. Yeah. And grass-fed beef has a great fatty acid profile. That's why I said grass-fed.
Well, especially because when we were training, and I'm not sure if that's swayed a bit now. I think it's kind of shifting, from a lot of the vegan propaganda. But we had a lot of clients coming in where, a lot of TV shows, a lot of magazines were really demonizing red meat specifically, and talking about all these detriments to it and saturated fat, and they're putting all this together. So they're just eliminating a huge, source of protein, a huge source of nutrients, from their diet that they were eating before. And so to bring them back towards grass-fed beef, it had just this crazy significant change in their energy and everything else.
So I love that you did those qualifiers, because I think that's, because if you were to, like I said, if you were to Google superfoods and get the big list of
you get a bunch of weird stuff.
Yeah, you get a bunch of random stuff, and it's okay, of those things, how many of these things did I really
you would see kale. Okay, just eat kale, see how long you survive for.
Yeah, not only that, but even just eating kale, the foods that you listed on here, and really I'm spot on with you on 4 of the 5, so I can't wait to get to the 5th one, because I'm curious where that's coming from.
I don't know about that one either.
Yeah, so it'll be a good discussion around that one. But I 100% recall recommending these foods to clients and it making a significant impact. It was this really helped this client, and that more than once. So that is the qualifier for me, is what are the foods that I said, hey, just add this to your diet or just do this thing, and made an impact. That's kind of where this list is coming from, I feel.
Now let's go back to what you said, Justin, about saturated fat. Now there are polymorphisms, or people who don't respond well to a lot of saturated fat. So what they'll see with the high consumption, if everything else is healthy, if they have too much saturated fat in their diet, their blood lipid numbers won't look so good. Now there's debate as to whether or not it's that important. People that I really trust would say it probably matters. So with those polymorphisms, you probably should watch, and you know this is if this is you, right?
Yeah, your doctor will describe that.
You'll see it. You're eating healthy, but your blood lipids are a bit off, and so you got to reduce your saturated fat intake. Well, here's what's great about grass-fed beef. It's leaner. It's a lot leaner. So like 8 ounces of, a ribeye, 8 ounces of flank steak, whatever that is grass-fed, it's lower in total fat. And the fatty acid profile is higher in omega-3 fatty acids than conventional beef. So I've had clients like this. This is why I'm saying this. I've had clients like this who were I had a few clients like this, were very diligent, healthy. Their blood lipids were a little iffy and everything else looked good. And they're like, well, should I eliminate red meat? And I said, before you do that, let's switch you to all grass-fed and see what happened. And that did the trick. They switched to all grass-fed without realizing that the protein went up anyway because it's leaner, so it's got more protein per ounce.
And calories went down.
Their fat went down a little bit. Calories went down a little bit. The fatty acid profile was different, and it made a difference. So for people who eat a lot of beef, this makes a lot of sense, especially for people who have those polymorphisms. But nonetheless, it's a superfood. It really is. It's one of the few things you could only eat ever for the rest of your life. I don't think this is ideal at all.
Right.
But you probably
getting more protein per capita, especially for like a lot of the young athletes, and trying to recommend, because they're just going to go right to shakes and to get it from real whole food and really up their protein with that, and like ground beef and easily assimilate it. That's one of the best options.
By the way, I also made this list somewhat balanced. So, you're going to have some proteins, you're going to have some foods that are, more starches or whatever, because I want to include all of those in this category. So next up, sardines or wild caught salmon. I put or because some people don't like sardines.
Well, I'm glad you said or, because I've actually never recommended sardines, but I have wild caught salmon all the time. All the time. So, but that's just because have you had sardines yet?
No.
You and me both.
They're not, I don't know why you guys, they're not bad. They're good. I think people confuse sardines with like anchovies or something. They're not bad at all.
I mean, they come in a can and you're eating like a whole looking fish. It looks pretty disgusting.
Yeah, get them skinless if it really makes a big difference. The skin's healthy, but get it without it's actually, I'm going to go buy some when we're done with this. We're going to try. Add a little salt and olive oil. Doug will tell you, it's really good. They're good. It's not a hyper fishy tasting fish either.
Yeah. Okay.
But sardines are so high in healthy omega-3 fatty acids. It's also a clean fish. Here's the deal with certain fish. And by the way, this is why I said wild-caught salmon.
Right.
Salmon's a bigger fish. If it's farmed, it can eat. It tends to have higher levels of toxins. The fatty acid profile isn't as good. Still not bad, but it isn't as good. Wild-caught, much cleaner.
Yeah.
Sardines, because they are small, they don't accumulate toxins. Like for example, a good example of this would be like the mercury content in swordfish. You can only eat swordfish so many times before you get too much mercury. Sardines are extremely clean fish, very high in omega-3 fatty acids, very high in protein and other key nutrients. It's definitely a superfood when you in that category. Wild-caught salmon also very, very good though. Also very, very good. So, and you said you recommended that one also.
Yeah, because omega-3s is like a very common thing that most clients need to supplement. And again, the goal, it's kind of like how we recommend protein. It's like my goal is always to try and get these nutrients through whole foods. And so if I have a client that is being told that they need more omega-3s, which is very common, it's probably one of the most common supplements that doctors recommend. It's that, hey, yes, we can take your omega-3s, and I'm not saying I'm against that, but it's like we could also try and incorporate some salmon once or twice a week, every week, and probably get those numbers up just from that, and that's a better route.
And it is higher per ounce in omega-3s in salmon. Doug, if you could look up for me a serving of sardines in a can, how many omega-3s are in there? It's super concentrated, like, one can every, 3 of those a week or something like that, and you'd be getting a really nice dose of omega-3.
You had a lot of success getting clients to do that, huh? That's interesting.
I did. A lot of people, so there you go, one little can, 18 grams of protein. So you're not even getting like a huge, it's not even a huge serving, 1,800 milligrams of omega-3s. Wow. And one of those, 70% of your daily value of vitamin D.
In one can.
Wow. It's just it's more nutrient dense than salmon. And now when I had clients and I recommend sardines, they all had the reaction you guys had. Like, oh, sardines. Then when they buy them in olive oil, you'd put salt on them or something, and everybody's like, that's actually pretty good.
Do you have any tricks to disguising it or anything like that? Because I think it's the eating out of the can that's like.
Put it on a plate with olive oil, throw some salt on it, see for yourself. I'm just telling you, it's not bad. Okay. It's not bad at all. You like tuna fish? It's less fishy than tuna fish.
I'm open to giving it a try. it's always been a tough one for me. It's just like, that just looks disgusting to me. Yeah. So I mean,
you've eaten worse things.
But I'm like, you can get me to try stuff like that. I mean, I'm not that resistant to it. Because I always went the salmon route to clients, regardless of I didn't know how beneficial that was in comparison. It's obviously the better route if you convince client.
You don't like any fish.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a bad example to bring into this conversation. I supplement.
He likes fish-shaped nuggets.
I hate the fish sticks.
All right, next up, blueberries. Blueberries. So here's what I love about blueberries. If you were to compare. A while ago, there was this craze over the acai berry. Remember that? Yeah, now that you can find them everywhere.
Because the company Monavie.
Yes. Yeah. So for a while ago, it was like 20 years ago, they talked about this like exotic Amazon berry, high in antioxidants. It's a blueberry in the Amazon. It's literally the same.
Yes.
It's the same thing. Yeah. But because it was so exotic, and it is very high in antioxidants.
It's exotic, but it's so like it's everywhere in Brazil. Like, it's just like blueberries here.
It was all marketing.
Yeah.
Blueberries are super high in beneficial flavonoids, antioxidants, super high in fiber, super accessible. It's the best fruit.
This is a go-to one for me for the fiber, antioxidants, and low calorie. So it's a great way for your clients to get that without a ton of calories. And it
low on the glycemic index. Yeah.
If I had clients that had a lot of time had any sort of constipation or digestive issues, I would literally prescribe two cups of this for the next 3 days, and like they would be cleared up.
Yes.
It was like a go-to move, easy, tastes good. Blueberries go on so many things so well too. So this would actually be on probably the top of my list of like when I think of that I recommend the most. Not that blueberries trumps grass-fed beef. It definitely doesn't. You couldn't live off of it.
No, but I wanted it to be balanced.
Yeah.
I wanted a fruit
like
in
you
there.
can't just eat blueberries and live off it. But again, using the qualifier you said of like, these are the things that we recommended a lot, made an impact on clients. Hands down, blueberries was probably actually number one.
And if you were to look at like, because they always talk about antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds or whatever, and you were to look at different foods, blueberries crushes. Mm-hmm. The reason why nobody talks about blueberries is because it's not sexy.
Well, and by the way,
blueberry.
Berries in general, right? Any berry, right?
Raspberry,
so raspberry, strawberry, blueberry, blackberry. All those are all very similar in the fact that they're high in fiber, high in antioxidants, and very low calorie when you compare it to other fruits.
By the way, this is like a staple. Blueberries, blackberries, raspberries are staple foods for my kids. Like they're so good for you, and kids love them. This is one of those.
It's like a treat.
Yeah, it's one of those foods for parents where because you sometimes like it's healthy, but they won't eat it. Kids eat out. They eat berries. Let them eat it. It's high in fiber.
There and everybody grazes.
Berries in Greek yogurt is like a go-to meal for my son.
Yeah,
it's like and it's like a treat to him. Sprinkle a little bit of granola on top of that, and his kid's like, he thinks he's got a dessert.
Yep. Today's program giveaway is MAPS Anabolic Advanced. If you want to win that, leave a comment below this video in the first 24 hours that we drop it. Subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications. If you win, we'll let you know in the comment section. We also have a sale this month. MAPS Hit and the Extreme Fitness Bundle, 50% off. Just go to mapsfitnessproducts.com and then use the code April50 for the discount. Back to the show. Next up, this is not at all a nutrient-dense food in terms of micronutrients, but it's extremely easy to digest. It's very inexpensive, and it's the most versatile starch that you'll find anywhere, which is white rice. Yeah. White rice is the best. If you want a starch, it's the best. Everybody digests it well. You can add it to anything. It's inexpensive. It's like a very easy, cheap, clean, effective source of carbohydrates.
This is my favorite one on your list.
Pair it to anything.
Because I think it'll be the most controversial as a superfood. But again, using the qualifier that you said, like, there's probably nothing that I've recommended more than just plain old white rice. There's nothing I've ate more than plain old white. It just goes with everything. You can have it mixed with eggs and stuff for breakfast. You can have it for every single meat that you eat or enjoy. It goes with fish. It goes with beef. It goes with lamb. It just goes with everything. And it's so good. It's new. I mean, to me, like white rice is just complements everything. It's a great, and it's also another reason why it's very easy to measure and track.
Yep.
And when you're working with clients and you're trying to be consistent with their tracking and their macros, I mean, nothing measures easier than a cup of rice. You know, it's such an easy way to stay.
And have you guys ever had a client have like specific digestive issues?
No,
to white rice?
digest so easy.
Nothing.
Yeah. So,
it's the easiest, cleanest sources.
by the way, better than brown rice too.
Way easier.
Yes.
Because brown rice, the fiber in brown rice can cause problems for actually anti-nutrients. By the way, brown rice on paper looks healthier, but through the digestive process is actually less healthy. Actually can cause nutrient deficiencies.
Yeah. Brown rice, massively overrated. White rice, winner.
White rice is it. All right, lastly, here's where you're probably going to debate me a little bit. Zucchini. Now, here's why I wanted to include a vegetable. Now, zucchini's technically not a vegetable, which is a good thing.
Right.
Zucchini is a fruit. Fruit are, generally speaking, easier to digest. Very rare to have an intolerance to fruit versus vegetable, if you were to compare them. But zucchini provides you with a lot of the benefits people are looking for from vegetables. In particular, motility. Like well-cooked zucchini for digestion is amazing. It's also very low in calorie. Now, it is high in certain nutrients, lutein, zeaxanthin, which are both great for inflammation, the brain, eyes, skin. But it's just this one thing that if you want to eat more vegetables to improve your digestion, but you also may have issues with food intolerance or whatever.
So we're thinking
zucchini.
digestion is a big process. Because I would be like, well, nutrient-wise, I would have gone cruciferous, but then some people can't.
A lot of people have issues with cruciferous.
Yeah, they can't process it as easy. So
yeah, you threw me for a loop on this one. Something like avocado, spinach would have been more likely.
I like avocado, but we had our fats in there. Otherwise, I would have put number 6 would have been
avocado. Too.
Oh, I guess that's true. You have plenty of fat. Okay, so that's kind of where you're thinking.
No seeds or nuts either.
And then sell me on why so much better than spinach.
So now people are going to be like, why are you saying that? Okay, so the carnivore enthusiasts, they make points that have some truth. I think they're all super extreme. I do think there are cases where some people have just autoimmune issues where they react to everything and they go on just a pure beef diet and it solves problems for them. So I get that. But the argument they make against vegetables in particular is vegetables have compounds in them that are in them to prevent animals from eating them. Okay. So in other words, if you're going to have an intolerance to a food, vegetables can kind of be high. Same thing with legumes, right? So you see legumes will have issues, nuts will have issues, egg whites, you'll have issues. Why? The egg white protects the yolk. And so the theory of vegetables are like spinach doesn't want you to eat the leaf. Yeah. They don't want you to eat the roots. What a plant wants you to eat is the fruit. It wants you to eat the fruit.
Offering.
So fruit is very easy to digest, whereas vegetables, sometimes yes, sometimes no. So you talk to people about spinach and you'll get people who will say, man, if I eat too much spinach, it messes me up. And the way they get around it is they cook the hell out of it.
Yeah.
They'll boil and cook the hell out of it. Same thing with cruciferous.
Yeah. It's all how you cook it.
I made this mistake once. I ate a bag of raw broccoli.
Oh, no.
Oh,
you can't do that.
It was terrible.
I mean, some people can, but
you got to cook the hell out of it. But see, with zucchini, it's like it's a fruit, essentially. It wants to be eaten, so it doesn't pose those issues.
That's a new one to me. I like that. I mean, now, we do zucchini, though. We do it a lot. I don't know if I ever went that way, but that makes sense. That makes sense if that's something that you are challenged with. More than likely, they're going to be able to have zucchini over the other ones.
Yeah, my wife makes it real well too. She'll this way is really good where she slices it. Actually, my son will slice it now, my 4-year-old, but it'll be sliced. Then she cooks it with olive oil and a cast iron. So like olive oil, garlic, I'm not sure, salt, and she kind of blackens it a little bit in the cast iron. Oh man,
that's good.
And that is like the best for digestion. Yeah. So yeah, what does that say there, Doug?
So
are vegetables real?
Yeah. So
is this on the moon?
It's more of a culinary term rather than a class of, plant.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's roots, stems, leaves, flowers. Some fruits are included in that group of vegetables, like zucchini.
Yeah. Interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, it's a culinary term. I know there's a lot of.
Was it just that they have seeds? Was that the class of the qualifier?
That's what it used to be
for fruits.
Yeah,
for fruits. Yeah.
If something has seeds in it, the plant is growing it and wants it to be eaten because that's how it.
So then you poop out and then it grows. Yeah, because of the.
And then it's
fertilization, yeah. I know, it's fun.
I know, isn't that hilarious?
Yeah.
I know, I love it. Hey, sorry to interrupt. Look, we have a free guide. It's the benefits of eating whole foods. This gives you a shopping list, what foods are best for proteins, fats, carbohydrates. There's recipe samples. It's all based on real, whole, natural foods, and it's a free guide. It's totally free. You can get it if you go to wholefoodsguide.com or by clicking on the link in the description below. Anyway, I was looking up, or I actually came across this post on what actually causes muscle growth. So as you guys probably know, there's always this like debate. Is it damage? Is it waste buildup? Is it mechanical tension? So the debate was, so mechanical tension is just the tension on a muscle fiber as it's contracting, whether it's concentrically contracting, shortening, eccentrically lengthening, or isometrically just holding, right? So that's mechanical tension. Then there's waste buildup, which is like the burn and the pump and the
lactic acid
that you feel, or those some people will say lactic acid. That's a debate as to whether or not that's a waste, but it's the burn, it's the the pump, all that stuff. The other one is like damage. Is it damage? So you damage a muscle fiber, then your body goes in, heals it, and then it makes it stronger. So there's been this debate back and forth. And for a while now, the data has shown that it's probably mostly mechanical tension, or more data is coming out showing that it's probably all mechanical tension. So what we're finding with damage is
if that's true, then I mean, I've talked about this for a long time, that I remember when I first read this as a trainer that technically soreness is a sign of overtraining. Too much. Yeah. It is then it's completely overrated. I mean, if it's all mechanical tension, then the signal of soreness the next day is more likely a sign of overtraining than that you had a good workout.
So here's where it gets interesting, right? Like applying enough mechanical tension to a muscle fiber to trigger muscle growth probably will elicit some damage. So it's hard to separate the two.
Right.
And then the waste byproduct, when you get a pump and then you do subsequent sets, it probably increases the tension on the muscle fiber because of the fluid buildup in the muscle. But it all points back to mechanical tension. So interesting, right? It's interesting. What does this tell us? I think what it tells us is what's most important is trying to get stronger, at least for the first few years, which is what we've always kind of preached. Longer rest periods, right? So you don't necessarily need to chase some of those other things. But yeah, it's interesting what the studies are coming out.
I mean, I feel like that points to the soreness thing more than anything to me. Is that it's not necessary. If you create good tension, that there's a very good chance you're going to adapt, grow, build muscle. You don't necessarily have to be sore. Now, could you be you create a ton of mechanical tension and then also become sore? Yes, but I think that just points more to that's more of a sign of overtraining. And the goal is, can I create mechanical tension in this workout without actually getting really sore, is what maybe is the Goldilocks zone.
Yeah. The reason why I was also reading about eccentric contractions, because they've shown eccentric contractions build more if you were to compare it to other types of contractions. So for people who don't know what that is,
more likely to get you sore.
Correct. Yeah. So that's the other side of it. But so for people who don't know, like an eccentric contraction would be like me curling a dumbbell, but now I'm lowering the weight. That's that's concentric. I'm controlling the lengthening, right? Concentric would be curling it up. But the reason why they say eccentric probably builds more is because you can apply more tension. So if you can curl
four times more.
Yeah. So if you could curl 50 pounds up, you could probably lower a lot more.
It's 4 times
with control.
They've actually done it. They say on average, whatever you can do.
I remember reading that.
Yeah, on the concentric motion, you can load 4 times more. And I've tested it before, just to like, okay, this is what I can curl. Then you have somebody like lower the weight.
It's like the spotter, right?
Yeah.
They used to work out like that, where they just hold the weight and then you're just eccentrically bringing it
But then
down.
the other side of that is, with that much tension comes damage.
Sure.
You're going to get some damage along with it.
Totally.
So this is why I think for a lot of people who've never trained with really heavy weight, when they do, it's like game changer. Like their body just, because there's a lot, I mean, you can get a lot of tension with higher reps too. But it requires, in my opinion, more work.
Way more focus too.
More work.
Tension.
Yeah, like heavy sets, like it's heavy. You're going to have a lot of tension. You're exerting
There's
a lot.
denying it,
You know? So I think that may be why you see that, especially, we get female clients who never train in the 3, 4 or 5 rep range.
Yeah.
Switch them over and it's just like, boom.
So yesterday was technically an off day for you?
No, yesterday was workout.
Oh, so yesterday was a workout. Today
Today I just did sauna and stretching. I just sat in the sauna and did some gnarly stretch, which is, man, it's gnarly, dude. I did 35 minutes in there.
Yeah.
With really deep
static stretching,
hard static stretching.
Now have you had
poses you doing?
I did quad stretch. I'm focusing on stretches that are beneficial for jiu-jitsu. So in jiu-jitsu, when you're in someone's guard on the ground, you need to sit back on your heels, and my quads are just tight.
A lot of happy baby.
So I'm doing that. No, that's when you're the other guys in your guard.
And like
Pigeon.
couch stretch.
Say what?
Couch.
Yeah, which one's couch?
So you put your foot back on the bench and then
yeah. Did that.
Press your hips forward.
Pigeon. Did a lot of pigeon. That's for some of the S mount stuff that I would do. Hamstring stretches. That's not super important. But
now, are you finding yourself? Have you had to have like an inner talk, like where it's like, today is you're supposed to go in like that, and there's like, wow, maybe I'll just do one little exercise. Like, are you even having that kind of a challenge where you're tempted, even though you've decided Monday and
workout snacks.
Monday and Thursday is supposed to. I'm assuming you've picked a day so you don't do this, right? So Monday, Thursday you get to lift. Other days not. Are you coming in on a Tuesday or a Wednesday and going like, maybe I'll do it today?
So I don't know if this will change, but the first week was tough, and I just felt sad. I just felt depressed and sad. I did. It sounds funny, but it's true. I just felt down.
Now that you're getting stronger, you're happy again.
No.
Okay.
You know what? I didn't even really pay attention. It wasn't until you asked me how much I was lifting. I had to go add it up because I was purposely not.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Something switched. Again, I don't know if it's going to switch back. I'm sure I'll struggle at some point, but I feel totally okay. I
think it's, or my guess.
But we're in the third week.
even though you're not trying to focus on strength, focus on the mirror, I have a feeling that you're going to see positive, both in either strength maintenance or maybe even strength gains, and aesthetically looking as good, which I don't think you're going to do, like fall off the wagon diet wise. No. I think what you're going to realize is that you're going to look as good or better, and you'll be as strong or better with significantly less. And so at that point, I feel like it'd be motivating. At least that's how it's been for me, is like, as I've reduced my volume down, I'm like, this is cool.
Maybe comforting might be the right word.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe that's probably how I
But I can feel I'm letting go of it. Of course, a lot of prayer. I think that's helping a lot. I'm sure at some point it'll pop back up, but it's interesting for people listening who are stuck in that place. When you move in a different direction and kind of stay there, eventually those chains start to break. You start to feel those chains break. Initially it can be hard. It's like if you always track your food, and you go off, at first you feel like, I'm going nuts. But then after a few weeks, what you'll find, it feels freeing, or like you weigh yourself all the time. So, but I don't know if it'll come back. You know when it'll come back? It'll come back if I go start lifting weights a lot. If I make it all about lifting weights and bodybuilding, then that old monster starts to come back. But the fact that I'm not doing it, I think has helped. And I'm actually enjoying the mobility. Well, enjoying is a strong word. I'm not hating it. I don't think I'll ever love it.
Teaching yourself to enjoy it.
But then you recorded yesterday too, right?
Yeah.
Yours. And you've dramatically reduced the amount of volume you were doing.
Dramatically.
And
which is funny because then you know how that goes. I verbalize, I'm talking with you guys about it, and then I'm out there like, I'm going to cut all this out, and then I just keep, this set. Well, I'm going to do another set. I'm going to do another. And I caught myself ramping it back up, and then I failed.
You're feeling good.
Yeah, I was feeling good, and then I failed on like 275, and I was like, oh, okay, I should stop. I was like, I wasn't going to do it again. My ego wanted to really just get back at it, and like, I've done this before, and like, because that's a new that's a new bar for me. Like I just got back and I'm like, I want to keep, hammering it home. Like this is like a consistent thing. So that was an ego shot that like kind of hit me real hard. And then I was like, you idiot. Yeah. Like you were just talking about feeling good and strong and reducing a lot of volume. And so, but anyway, it's all part of the process. Like I need to exhaust, like I just need to start like going off of a new playbook and really stick to it.
You know what years ago when I was chasing a 600-pound deadlift, I would make this mistake. I'd hit a PR and then I'd come back
PR the next day.
And I'd be like, that's my new,
I know.
Yeah. And then
it's hard not to.
It's hard.
Yeah. Because you're like, maybe I got a little more.
Well, so then what I did, I was reading like Soviet era training methodologies. And what they would do with their athletes is when they would hit a PR,
Go back.
they go way back and then they'd focus on speed for a while.
That's exactly what I know, like logically. I was like, yeah, that's what I should be doing. And then I didn't do that. So now I'm like, I'm just going to try really hard to discipline myself to do that.
Well, it's resisting that temptation. There's a part of you when you hit that PR, you go like, well, could I have done 10 more than that?
Yeah, exactly.
And
I want to see if I get like 5 more pounds.
Yeah,
after
that temptation of like, man, that went down pretty good. Maybe next week I'll do a little, you know what I'm saying? And versus like, okay, PR, now reset, go back, change it to way light, speed.
I got a question for you. Are you using the DeFranco grip thing before your workouts?
Oh, to see? No.
Oh, I wonder if that would help.
And you know what else is a factor too? And this is why I'm really looking forward to working with Thursday. I'm going to work with Jordan, but there's what we have set up here is so not conducive to what I'm trying to do because poor Dale, and I'm like, okay, we got to lift it back up. So we have to every time I drop, I have to pick it back up and then put it back on the rack. And I was like, and I didn't want to complain because it's like I'm getting exhausted just, with that
versus
extra
having
bit.
boxes. That
pulling it and bringing it back up. And then I was like, when I hit it before, I did a lot less laddering up to that point. Like I started at
so no fatigue.
Yeah, no fatigue. Fatigue wasn't there, and then also to the in between. So anyway, I have all these excuses, but I'm factoring all that in for when I really try to get
when the day comes and you're towards the end of this program and you're going to go try after these PRs, Sal and I will come be your weight bitch, and we'll so that way you got it
perfect, bro. He's so strong. How are we gonna get tired?
Well, there's 2 of us. So I figured by myself I can't.
Dylan will appreciate it. He's like trying to film. And he's like,
poor Dylan. This guy's trying to cameraman and do it.
Put him through the ringer, dude.
That's not fair to him at all, man. I know one of the things I've always enjoyed is when we have these conversations and the stuff that we continue to learn, or even if it's a lesson we've already learned, but again, how it's still challenging the PR stuff. I'm reminded of just, man, how I really, when I'm not tracking and I'm not really going after protein, I'm definitely guilty of dramatically, way less than I should. I just know I'm this.
Where do you fall when you don't? What do you think?
80 grams.
Wow.
Yeah.
So two protein meals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or 3 medium-sized ones or whatever like that. Yeah. So if I don't actively go after protein, I probably fall right around 80 grams. Crazy, maybe as low as 70. Maybe I'm lucky 120, 130, but dramatically under. And
so when you miss your breakfast, is that like a determiner?
Yeah. So if I'm breakfast skipping like I'm doing sometimes, that's right away. That guarantees I'm not going to get even anywhere close. But yeah, you're normally lunch and dinner. Then there are these kind of big protein meals, but even a big protein meal is
60 grams.
Yeah,
you hit 120 if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's huge. 60. That's big is like 45, 50. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about 8-10 ounces of meat or more. That's like a pound and a pound just to get 160. So it's hard to do that. And so when I was in Mexico, I trained 2 of the 3 days or 2 of the 4 days I was out there, and overreached. And man, it really is a night and day difference on how fast I recover versus when I'm under. Huge. And I'm reminded of that. So I wanted to share, because I'm like, here we are. I'm almost a week since then, right? So it's like 6 days. I'm still really sore, and I'm like, I was to a point where I was like, man, I didn't overreach that bad. I'm like, you know what? I've been so low protein the last 3-4 days. I'm like, I'm just not giving myself enough, and I can feel how much the recovery is dragging out.
For me, if it's sleep 1, protein 2. If those 2 things will affect my recovery like nothing else.
Ironic you say that, because I've been sharing the whole thing going on with 8 Sleep and getting that all fixed and stuff right now, waiting for them to send over the new one. And my sleep has been terrible. So what I'm probably noticing is a combination of deprived, because I shouldn't. I did a workout that was intended not to do a lot of damage. I was like, oh, this is just a nice, light, easy, whatever. Shouldn't be that sore. And then I ended up being pretty sore, a lot sore than I thought. And I'm like, God, how am I still sore? But then I'm like, low protein, terrible sleep.
Plus you're wimpy.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to ask you. You had the sunburn. You say we're gonna use the Jew for it.
Oh, so yeah.
So what did you notice?
So I didn't get burnt. I mean, it didn't burn and peel for sure. I overdid the sun. I mean, I was in Cabo, so we were like out.
So this was after the fact you used the
and you know what made me do it? So the house had. I mean, did you guys see the video of the house?
Yeah,
bro,
insane. That was an insane house.
Shout out to Jim. When Jim came to the studio, did we tell the audience on air that he was there? I don't remember if he just got
I think that was just
so the audience knows we had a guest come in. He's been a long time listener. I'm sure he'll listen to this. So shout out to Jim. And like really listens to the show. Like he's listened to a lot of episodes, came in. I can't even remember how Katrina set up the visit for him to come by, but he came in and watched the live recording. And he knew that I go to Cabo a lot. Katrina and I go to Cabo a couple times a year for a very long time. And he's like, hey, I'm building a place out there. Yeah. And then he goes, I would love for you to check it out. I know you and Katrina travel and do stuff like that, and love to hear your opinion on it and give me feedback. And I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, well, I'll hit you up when I'm going to head out that way. And so we kind of stayed in contact back and forth a little bit. And then this trip came up where I'm going out there for a wedding. And I reached out to him and said, hey, I'm going to be out there around this time. Is the house available? And he's like, oh my God, it's finishing up right now. This would be great. I'll be like the first guest to stay in it. And he's just like, would love to hear your opinion and feedback. And he sent me over a little bit of a hype video on it, and I could tell it's a nice place. I'm like, oh, this is a really nice place. This is cool. So I'm super excited. We go with another couple, but the video did not do justice. Like I went there and I went, holy shit. Yeah, I mean, I told Katrina.
That's a ridiculous.
Bro, I've been blessed enough to stay in a lot of really cool Airbnb. Yeah, we stayed in a ton of Airbnbs together. We look for really cool spots. I don't think I've ever been in a house this cool. Like as far as everything it had. Like he has really thought, I mean.
There was a spa in there.
A full spa where you actually can get facials done and a massage person. Right there. The whole thing. I mean, and the details, like a warmer for the sheets, the red light therapy sitting right by the thing. Was a cold plunge, a sauna, steam, a shower to rinse you off between, the gym. Yeah. I mean, that was the biggest.
It was like better than a hotel gym.
Oh, it was the biggest home
lit up bar surface.
Oh,
and everything.
A body fat tester.
Sick. Yeah.
I mean, the detail that he put into this place, and his goal, he said, like, I really want to attract a high end health conscious client. Yeah. And so, I mean, I'm like, bro, you just hit it out the park with this place.
So you used the red light there.
So I used it there and back. So
nice.
I know I overdid the sun. And I was like, oh, we just were talking about Juve and you're talking about the sunburn thing. And I'm like, I've actually never intentionally, I don't burn that easy. It takes a lot of sun for me to even probably need that. I'm like, oh, I knew it was coming on. I could just tell the way my skin was turning red. I'm like, oh shit. So I right away the next day did it there. So I did it 2 days there and I've done it since I've gone back. And it kept it from turning into a burn, which obviously we all know what our skin is like. And so you can tell when like, oh, this is going to be a sunburn and peel or whatever. I knew I was on that path, but just from doing the light, the 2 days there, and then I've done 2 more days since I've been back, kept it from turning into a burn and peeling and just turned it into a nice tan.
Yeah, it reduces inflammation. Sick. For people who aren't familiar, so red light, this spectrum of light activates mitochondria. It's well known, well studied. It's been studied since the 1970s. It's not new science. And it reduces inflammation, stimulates collagen production, reduces damage. By the way, what it does for skin, it'll do for muscle, right? So if you do hard training and you get the wavelength of red light that penetrates through the skin, because you can get deep penetrating or stuff that just focuses on the skin. And I know Juve has the panels that do both. Yeah. So the big panels will do both.
So I've tested what you're talking about now. I've trained legs really hard, intending to, or trying to get sore, and then red lighted one side, not the other side.
And you notice a difference.
Oh yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. You will absolutely notice a difference. Wild. Yeah. And I don't recommend you do that. But I was so curious because I remember when we were reading all the studies, and it's like, could it be making that big of a difference? Like, come on. Well, an easy way to test it is I'm going to train hard, trying to get sore, and then I'm going to use one side and one side only, and then see if I can feel the difference. Oh, yeah.
Well, think about it, right? Well, how does this benefit you? Well, we just talked about mechanical tension stimulating muscle growth and damage not being the thing that stimulates muscle growth. Well, what if that allowed you to apply more mechanical tension more frequently and subvert the damage, not get as much damage? Well, now you got better results. Yeah. In fact, I think I've never thought of this before, but I think red light therapy would be a great way to bring up a weak body part. So you increase the volume and frequency of a weaker body part, add red light therapy specifically targeting that area, and you'll probably get faster results.
Well, you make the analogy all the time when you try and teach people the adaptation process. You always use tanning as the example of that. And that really mitigated the damage I would have done. You know, like you always say, just 10 minutes at a time. Well, I didn't do that. I stayed out there for hours. Definitely overdid it, like overtraining. But because I did the red light therapy, it ended up adapting just fine. I got a great tan from it. And so, of course, it would apply, I would think, very similarly with training, is like it now allows you that ability to maybe overreach a little more than what you normally would, because you can still recover and go back at it.
Dude, I got to tell you guys a story that happened over the weekend that was just, it was pretty awesome to see. In the moment, though, it was a little scary. So my wife, she was Superwoman. So we're all hanging out at home. We have friends over. They hadn't been over, this couple that we met. So we're all hanging out. Everybody has little kids. So the kids at one point are watching TV. We're all having a little bit of wine together at the table. And the kids are eating snacks. My wife bought these like granola ball things or whatever, and the kids are eating them. And my 4-year-old gets up and he starts choking a little bit. And he makes a face. And listen, this is not an exaggeration, okay? You'll meet these people at some point, they'll tell you. This is not, my son stands up, he starts to gag a little bit. Bro, my wife from the kitchen, flew in there, swooped him up, turned him upside down, pop, 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 hitting him, he spits it out. I mean, that's so fast. Everybody there, like the couple we had over, were like,
super mom.
Oh yeah, they're like, oh my God, you went right into action. You flew over.
Hell yeah.
And I was laughing and I was making a joke. I'm like, what if it was me choking? She flipped me upside down. But she got into action so fast. In fact, she was wearing a dress and she's like, I'm pretty sure I mooned everybody. I'm like, I don't think we noticed. We were looking at my kid.
I think every parent has experienced something like that. Scary. I told the story where I like pulled my groin muscle because I heard him going down the stairs. It's a weird thing to reflect on after it's happened. It's like, I moved faster than you could pay me all the money in the world and I couldn't replicate.
There's another level you don't even know you have.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's crazy.
It was split second. Yeah. As we were processing that is he okay? Boom, she's over there. And she literally snatches him up.
Extra sense.
She snatches him up. She's holding him with one arm upside down. Pop, 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 hitting the back. And I was like, whoa.
So scary. Yeah. I had that when Courtney was at work. And
that's what
I remember when
that was even with Ethan too. At both kids, like I've had to do that. And it was just like, oh, that's terrifying. So
we bought those choking, I don't know what they're called, but
we got them too, the little mask
thing, and you pull the plunger.
I got the same thing.
Bro, the Facebook ad got me. Those bastards.
They got me
that
too.
ad scared the shit out of me. I was flipping through.
I bought 3 of them,
And there's a video. Listen.
I know.
They're still sitting in the plastic in the pantry.
I get it. It's great
It's marketing. The worst. I bought one of every size. It's the worst ad. It's the worst, most effective ad ever. I'm flipping through Facebook, and you're watching because you're like, it looks like a security cam video, and there's a mom running outside holding your kid who's choking, trying to help him. It's like, don't let this happen. I'm like, bye.
Yeah. It's tough too because there's a lot of value in the kids taking big chunks of meat and learning to chew and stuff like that. And so that's been a constant battle, Katrina and I, because there's this temptation to want to chop it up all small for him so he doesn't have to worry about it. But it's like, man, we're also depriving him of building all that muscle in his jaw and the digestive process of him chewing on something like that.
There's
a lot
of value to that.
Yeah, there's a lot of value to that. So it's like, how do you balance this? Like, we know
that's parenting in a nutshell.
Right.
It's everything. Oh, they're climbing the tree. Oh man, if he falls, that's not gonna. You gotta be. You start to get afraid.
Take the risk on here.
Oh yeah,
sit in it. It's like, oh, dude, have you guys seen? I wanted to bring this up because I just saw a video and it's so wild and like something I didn't really foresee in terms of like technology and how they're going to come up with these crazy products. But Kawasaki, I believe they came up, I think it's Corleo they call it. It's like a quad, right?
Oh, the bike,
but it's a freaking like an animal.
Oh no, I haven't seen that.
Yes, so it like has legs and it like runs and then jumps.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, and you sit on it. And you sit on it and it's like. It's conceptual. It's conceptual, but they said that they're actually going to put it in production.
I thought you were going to talk about the big wheel that I sent you guys. I totally did not see it.
No, dude, this tripped me out. I was just thinking, like, if you're in the forest and then all of a sudden somebody's on one of those things.
No.
And it looks like,
I did see this video, but that's not real.
It's Conceptual.
It's a hydrogen-powered robot horse. Oh, that's cool.
I mean, if you play the video, you get a little
seriously
bit better.
though, like if you roll up,
I was like,
imagine being
dude, this would be
hey,
so sketchy if I saw that in real life.
imagine being a young dude.
Dude, would mechanical horses become a thing?
Could they?
I know. Like,
why not?
Why not? It's kind of weird.
They would because arms.
They can get further, like in terms of like terrain.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like what I never even of all
I
this
know.
all
Never
robot never thought like, wow, mechanical horses.
That'd be like going backwards, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
but you're like, wait a minute. There's
imagine
value to that.
Now
Yeah.
imagine you're like a young dude and you got one of these for the first time and you roll up to like a bunch of girls. Say, hey, like how cool would you be? Get on my robot horse.
Giddy up.
Look at that. Yeah.
It like jumps. Like you think about jumping over like some crap.
Oh
like
my
crevasse
God.
or something
Imagine
like
the rush of that.
Oh my God, it'd be scary.
Dude, that would be. I kind of want one.
I didn't even know that was going to be
I know. I was like, I would like.
you know what I don't know how to believe. Like, there's so many like conceptual things
know.
now. It's like, which one are we really going to get?
Yeah.
I think Doug was talking about this the other day. Somebody else had shared this with me, and I heard this, and I think this is true. And they're working on it. I believe that Porsche is working on like a synthetic carbon neutral fuel. So that basically it's going to be like gas powered cars, but it'll be carbon neutral. And so
What does that mean, carbon neutral?
So well, right now gas is not, right?
Sure.
So I don't know. It's like a synthetic type of.
But I think hydrogen does.
So how
that.
does it burn? Yeah, hydrogen.
I think hydrogen powered cars, they just emit steam, right? Or water vapor.
Yeah,
That's what
water vapor is the byproduct.
Yeah, so it's called e-fuel. It's made from water and captured CO2.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
So whatever it's capturing and then putting it back out. So it's carbon neutral.
And you can use it in a regular gas-powered engine.
Wow, that's what makes it so crazy.
Smart,
so
dude.
imagine having this badass gas-powered car that sounds awesome and has all the things that people love that are enthusiasts. Wow.
But you're not
then being able
polluting.
to- yeah.
the
I mean,
best
that
of
could
both
be.
worlds.
Can you imagine how game-changing that would be if that happens?
No, that's way better than this electric nonsense.
I mean, if they made it cost, if it was.
Well, look it up, Doug.
Yeah, that's a challenge right now. It's not cost-effective.
But
But they're working on that.
Was right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like most everything that we figure out, like it's really not cost effective at first until.
Since you guys are talking about this, you know what's funny?
Crazy.
I've been contemplating just because I'm doing different things to stay active. I'm like, maybe I should go buy a bike, because I live in a good town, where it's a nice bike riding town.
I want to get you a good helmet.
And I had,
This
I
real
know,
pointy
dude.
one.
Why would it be pointy, you dickhead?
It's got a match.
Super aerodynamic.
Hey, shut up. Just because you wear a triple X helmet. You wear a triple helmet.
Yeah, I got a big ass dome, dude.
Juggernaut over here.
Anyway, so I was talking to my buddy about this because it might be good. It's good activity. I used to like riding my bike when I was younger, and there's these electric bikes that they're not the electric ones that are like little motorcycles.
Like what we have.
You still have to pedal them.
Yeah.
So it's got just an engine that helps you, and I'm like, why would I want that? And he goes, bro, you go all over the place. It's a mountain bike. You go up, hill, downhill. He goes, you just enjoy the scenery.
Bro,
He's like, you still have to
It's
work.
game changer.
You know you have that already, right?
Yeah.
You know you own that already, right?
Well,
That's
up
the
in
one we have over
Truckee.
there.
Yes.
I haven't used it.
That's exactly. So it's cool. Is
They're
that
so awesome.
There's all these levels of exactly how much assistance you want.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want a full-on pedal, you can full-on pedal. If you want just a tad of the electric to kick in, then which is awesome. So it's like,
Yeah, but we have the cheap ones. He was showing me this like $7,000 like amazing.
well, I
one.
mean, it can get,
you
it's
can
like
get
specialized
crazy with
ours
it.
are nice, dude. They're not like, I mean, I guess they're cheaper than that,
Okay.
but they're not
Well, this
like
is
crap.
I haven't even talked about this because your guys' kids and I don't know. We have different kind of like stages, but my older, he keeps borrowing my e-bike, and it's like the range and the accessibility to like in terms of
right?
going further than we would have gone as kids. Like it's crazy. And two, they're having major problems with a lot of groups of kids because they'll make their way onto the roads, and so they're starting to try and crack down and and take the bikes from them. Like the kids are getting arrested.
So this is the one. Yours is the one that it doesn't go on its own. You still have to pedal.
You still have to pedal.
Okay, so that's what I was
It's a
talking
Super
about.
73, but they're trying to class them now. So like based on how fast they go, it's legal. Otherwise you got to get a license and so they're trying to kind of organize because right now it's the Wild West, and you see kids doing wheelies like in traffic and doing all this crazy shit.
So my buddy was telling me because in this area we have some of the best biking trails around. Best mountain biking trails around. Easy ones and advanced ones. He goes, yeah, me and my wife go. And he's fit, but he's like, I'm not trying to go on this crazy trail. But
it's
with
like
this bike,
opened up a whole new world, dude. It's crazy. Like I would have been so into it if I was a kid.
Well, it's really amazing. Cool, again, how you can decide, like, is this going to be a workout day? You're really trying to get after it? Or do you want it's more about the scenery and going distance and like, so you can really ramp up the assistance or you can really bring it down and make it feel like you're pedaling. And so it is cool to have that flexibility.
Yeah, I might get one. I might get one.
I mean, you can probably borrow your own and see if you use it.
Well, yeah, it's all the way up there.
I remember though when I was like, I remember I bought bikes for Katrina and I when I thought I was like, I'm a bike kick. I did it for like a little while. It's not it.
I dig it, dude.
So I'd be interested for
freedom.
You're probably the most likely one of all of us to probably do it.
I'll do
Doug rides his little moped over here every once in a while too. So maybe Doug.
But yours is not an e-bike, right? Yours actually can drive on its own, or is it also an e-bike?
It can drive on its own.
It drives on its own. Yeah.
But can you pedal it too or not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so you have the same thing. Yeah. So most of them are like that where
you can turn it on if you want without pedaling.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll give that one a shot. You know, speaking of my neighborhood, there's all this construction work where I live right now. They're doing all this work, and anyway, when I go on walks with the kids, we see all these construction workers, and I always tell my kids to say thank you to them or whatever. And the other day we got them, breakfast and stuff. And I thought to myself, I'm like, they would probably like Element T because it's hot. They're working outside. That's got to be one of the best supplements for people who blue collar workers who work outside. It's got to be one of the best things.
Oh yeah,
is to have that electrolyte in powder in your water as you're working. The amount of sweat that they put out, especially these guys working on roofs and stuff. Now these guys are working on the roads, but it's starting to warm up. Like you're outside all day doing that. You are sweating your butt off.
It'd be interesting to see who's buying a lot of that. Obviously, that company is growing like crazy, and
it's athletes, a lot of athletes, but blue collar workers has to be
I would think that would be the two. I mean, I remember, and you did too. We all did. We all worked construction with our parents and stuff like that.
My dad used to add a little salt.
Yeah, well, it was Gatorade was like the thing back then. Like that's what all the guys did. They all had Gatorade, stuff like that. Like this is such a superior product now that you would think that they would make that. I mean, I would think that's just smart if they would. I mean, imagine I'd go rolling up to all these big construction job sites and drop it off. I mean,
absolutely.
We did that, for the guys working on our house, and it was funny because before that it was like we're giving them beer, and they're like, we gotta stop giving them beer. It's great, it's cool and all that.
Building our house,
it's probably not a good idea.
It's all misaligned.
It's cool, but whatever. It's we dropped off some Element, and it was like, there was one guy that really appreciated it, but the rest were. I should have qualified it better because it's not Gatorade. It's not something sweet. It's not something like it's so once they kind of understood that what its intention was, like you have to kind of explain it first because otherwise it's just like, oh wow, they thought it was like ocean.
Oh yeah, the salt is over. If you don't understand the value,
especially if you add it to a little bottle of water, you have to, that's half a packet.
Oh yeah,
it's too much. It's too much in a
we stock the outside fridge. Our contractors
it's so tasty
with the ready to drinks already, and they've been drinking them, so they definitely appreciate.
My cousins love it for jiu-jitsu. They say they notice a big difference in the performance in jiu-jitsu.
For sure.
Yeah, when
sodium's a huge part of
it is. A loss of performance, and these are the old studies, right? These are the original Gatorade studies. The loss in performance that a lot of athletes will see, there's a lot of factors, but one of them is the loss of sodium through sweating. And when you replace that, you get back a lot of the performance you lost.
I want to circle back, Sal, because and I just forgot about it until you start talking about this stuff right now. Getting back to my being out in the sun, and everybody always talks about like getting recharged. When you go on these vacations, like I just did this thing. Yeah. And what's the literature say about the exposure to the sun and like direct relation to things like vitamin D, hormones in my body, and how much does that impact like hormonally? Like I know sunlight is important to us, but what's the literature say about can I in that short of a time frame see so
vitamin D is fat soluble, right? So if you had low vitamin D and the doctor were to give you a supplement, there's two ways you could do it. You could take a little every day, or you could take one big ass dose.
Yeah.
Right. So you could take 5,000 IUs every day, or you can take a 35,000 dose, IU vitamin D capsule, and that's it for the week. So once a week type of deal.
Oh, I didn't know that you could do it like that.
Yeah. In fact, that's how they often do it. So like my dad was low vitamin D, which by the way, the amount of vitamin D you synthesize from the sun, I think it's a pretty significant amount per hour. Maybe, Doug, you could look up. I think it's like 40,000 IUs for an hour of sunlight. But there's a wide individual variance because if you're dark-skinned, you're not going to synthesize nearly as much as if you're light-skinned. Now, my dad, we're Sicilian. We go out in the sun, we get very dark. Like, this is me not being in the sun. If I go out in the sun for a week, I get like several shades.
Yeah, we're alike like that.
Yes, I get very dark. So my dad works outside a lot. He's retired, but he likes to work out in the backyard. And he was having all these symptoms of low vitamin D, but didn't know. He just thought he had lots of aches and pains. My back's hurting, this hurting, that hurting. I don't feel good. And finally went to the doctor, and they said, "You think you have? Maybe you might have low vitamin D." And my dad's like, "There's no way. I'm outside all day."
Yeah.
And they checked him. He was. So they gave him like massive doses of vitamin D just a few times to build it up. So what does that say? 22%. So 1,000 IU can be synthesized. So 10 to 15 minutes of sun exposure will give you 1,000 IUs of vitamin D.
Wow, just 10 to 15 minutes.
On a sunny summer day, a child wearing a bathing suit can generate 10,000 to 20,000 IUs of vitamin D in 15 to 30 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
In just 15 to 30 minutes.
Yep.
So I'm spending 4 hours out there one day. I can get a mega dose like that. And then, I didn't know, you just said something I had no idea about.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I was supplementing with vitamin D, 5,000 IUs. Then I remember we got those Cabral tests, and it came back I was extremely low still on 5,000. So 10,000 is now what the ones I get are with that. But again, I'll be really good for like 4 or 5 days, and I'll forget for 2. I didn't realize I could triple it up.
Yeah, you could buy a 50,000 IU vitamin D.
Oh my
God. This is why people don't recommend it, because then sometimes people forget and they end up taking too much. Yeah, you can get toxic, right, if you take too much vitamin D.
Yeah.
But you could buy, you could take a take a big dose on Monday.
I had no idea about that. Otherwise, that's exactly what I would do is when I know
my mother-in-law, she had low vitamin D, and the doctor gave her 50,000 IU capsule, and she was taking like one every 4 days or something like that. Yeah, so you could, because it's fat soluble. It just builds up in your system. And
I did not know I could do it that way.
You don't pee it out like vitamin C.
Wow. And then, of course, that impacts hormones and everything like that.
Yeah, but going outside, man, you synthesize a lot.
Yeah,
and again, if you're darker,
a 3-day hanging out in the sun.
Oh, yeah, you got a big-ass dose of vitamin D.
Wow.
Yeah. The only way to know would be to test your vitamin D levels to see how much you made, how effective it was.
Yeah.
But you seem to not absorb a lot of it supplemental. You have to take a lot for you to make it to move the needle.
And nothing feels the same as getting it through the sun.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, the only way to know is to get tested. That's why I think it's so important to get tested with your nutrient levels. Like our partners at mphormones.com can test that. And then based off of that, determine what kind of supplementation you need and or hormones. Low vitamin D can cause low testosterone.
You know, it's one of the first things I do right now. Obviously, all of us get questions all the time from family and friends. And I've now, ever since we made the partnership at MP Hormones, I was just like, go there first. Go get all that. Then when you get all your results back, then we can talk about the programming, the diet, all the other things, whatever supplements you need. Is like, that's become my default, like, go take those steps first. Because that always tells me, too, how serious someone, like, you really want to work, you want to be healthier, like, let's go see your baseline, and then we can go.
I got to tell you guys, too. So are they running a special, Doug, on growth hormone releasing peptides?
Yes, they are.
Testosterone is on there, right? Okay.
That is correct.
Okay, so I got to tell you guys.
You love that one, don't you?
My wife,
that one too.
My wife was taking testosterone, okay? And then she was getting her growth hormone levels tested, and she was taking the recommended dose. Her growth hormone levels were like an 18-year-old's from taking the testosterone. She actually lowered the dose. That's how much it'll raise your growth hormone.
Wow.
Yes.
That's cool.
It was still good, but it was at the upper limit.
Wow.
And so she wanted to reduce it a little bit because she's like, I don't want to have, whatever. But
now, did you ask her, or has she reported any like things that she actually feels?
Sleep. My wife noticed huge impacts on her sleep from the testosterone. But you'll get like the fat loss, the skin effect.
The body composition one, there's a tesofensin for Courtney. It was like magical.
Oh, that's a different,
did that
help her?
Big time. It was like one of those things that like sometimes you find something that just unlocks results almost like within a week. Yep. It was like crazy like that.
If you find the right one, but there's hexarelin, testosterone, sermerelin. These are all the growth hormone releasing peptides, and they legit will bring your growth. I mean, they're very predictably will bring up your growth hormone levels now just by making your body produce more.
And the rest of the month, they're 25%.
Is it 25% off?
Yeah, I think so.
Element is an electrolyte powder. You add your water, no artificial sweeteners, no sugar, and it gives you the right amount of sodium to fuel your workouts. If you don't eat a lot of processed foods, especially if you're in a low-carb diet, you'll probably benefit from adding Element to your water. Go check them out. Go to drinklmnt.com/mind pump. On that link, you'll get a free sample pack with any drink mix purchase. All right, back to the show.
Our first caller is Shauna from Canada.
Hi, Shauna.
How you doing, Shauna?
How are you?
Hey guys, I'm doing good. This is so surreal. I can't believe I'm here. Thank you for everything you guys do. I know everybody says that, but I just wanted to start off by saying that because I'm really nervous. So if I can just give you guys a bit of a background before I jump into my kind of questions, is that okay?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm 37. I'm a mom of two, and I've been listening to you guys consistently for a year and a half now. I've gone through all your podcasts to gain as much knowledge on strength tips as I possibly can as I embarked on my strength training only journey for the first time since January 2024. I've essentially been active my entire life. Prior to kids, I was one of those workout class junkies for years, did dragon boat for a couple years, went through an endurance craze phase with running, completed a triathlon, and always trying to find new ways to be healthy and fit. I hired an online trainer in January 2024 and worked with her for 9 months. Over those 4 months, I won the New Year, New You program, which essentially was who had the most results overall on their transformation journey. I am, however, feeling stuck without the help of a trainer as it didn't work out with her. So I've kind of just tried new ways to do my own thing since not being with her. I felt really tied to her app and her programs that she used to provide me phased out workout programs. I lost 23 pounds from January to May of last year, and now I'm back up 11 pounds since reverse dieting and working on my metabolism. My goal is to build as much muscle as I can and work on my glutes and lower body. And now I'm kind of at a point where I think I'm getting too fluffy and I want to cut for the summer. I currently train 5 days a week and I work out solely from home. I'm starting to cut down from eating about 2,300 to 2,400 calories a day over the last 4 months. And I've been trying to build my lower body and also bring in my waistline, which has been slightly challenging due to having diastasis recti. I've seen some gains in the right places, glutes mainly and legs, but at times I tend to think I overtrain. And I did this with my trainer as she had me doing it this 7 days a week. To bring my macros down too fast is also is sort of a challenge for me as I don't want to lose what I've built. And I also struggle with some hip mobility issues on my right side. So it makes it harder to connect with my glutes as I would like to when it comes to squatting. So I try to stick to unilateral movements. My kind of open-ended question would be is how can I change my workouts accordingly without overtraining during this cut, all while trying to help with my hip mobility issues and SI joint pain? And is there a program you could recommend that I could use for a cut and only do this from home? I have like the interchangeable dumbbells, barbell, incline bench, squat rack, plates, a rotted Bowflex, and a power tower. And my original goal was to grow the glutes and legs. And I understand that I have a little bit of a setback not having all the equipment. So if I can get to a gym every once in a while, I'll use whatever I don't have at home. So my ultimate goal is to get to a place where I can see the muscle growth, maintain a cut look, and continue to grow off season while maintaining a metabolically good place. If you guys can provide any advice, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, Shauna, we're looking at your
question.
Your before and after pictures.
Incredible.
Great job.
Yeah.
Exceptional job. You're doing great.
Yep.
I think I definitely think you're overdoing it with the workouts.
For sure.
Yeah. So Muscle Mommy would be a great program based off of the areas you want to focus on. I will say this with online coaches, there's always good ones and bad ones. And then there's ones in between, and the ones in between, what they do well is they'll coach people, but what they don't do well is set the person up to be able to do this on their own. So it tends to feel like this, like I'm dependent on this coach and I'm not really being coached on how to do this in a way to where I can develop this relationship and understanding of how to modify my workouts, how to change my diet so that I can just do this for the rest of my life. You're the perfect candidate for that because you've been doing this for so long. It's something that you value and that you take seriously. So I think a good coach, again, would be very valuable for you. And I can have someone reach out to you and call you because we have some coaches that we know are really good that can help do that. As far as program is concerned, I think Muscle Mommy would be ideal for you. And then with diet, I mean, your calories are good. I think if you were to cut your calories, follow a good program, I think you're going to see that nice, smooth fat loss without muscle loss. I think you'll be good.
I was even considering symmetry for her.
Symmetry would be another great
Just
one.
because
I was thinking of that one too at one point, because I did end up getting Muscle Mommy on a side point, and I was scared to start it because when I looked at it, I was like, I'm used to doing PPL, and this was more of like a full body.
Yeah.
So I got a little nervous and I put it aside until I was able to sort of like, I'm still kind of like stuck in my coach's mindset of PPL. So I've been like just doing whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you think it'll benefit me, I could always.
sure.
100% it will. Always remember, like if whatever you do, whether it's push pull legs or you do a body part split or you do a full body, whatever you do most of the time, almost anything else is going to be better as far as like the novelty. Like it's going to be a new stimulus for you. If you're used to doing push pull legs and you've done that for the last year, going to full body may be one of the best things you possibly do, just that alone. And then reducing the volume. If you're training 7 days a week, I like something that's more like 3 or 4 days a week for you. That alone with the calorie reduction, I think will lean you out nice, keep the muscle that you've built. You're not going to lose it. I think you could easily scale back that much. What about like activity? Like I didn't know if I heard you say, did you say steps and how much you're moving? Are you doing any cardio, anything like that?
I try to hit 10,000 steps a day. I have a sedentary job, but I'm always making sure I listen to you guys when you say to do those, how important it is to take the 10-minute walks after each meal. So I'm really trying to make a point to do that now that the weather's nicer here because we had a lot of snow. But I've always been very consistent with anything that I've done, like steps, sleep, water, getting the 7-8 hours of sleep. Like I'm really good at following something when it's laid out for me. So active wise, I think I'm in a pretty good spot with my steps. I even kick myself sometimes when I only get 6,000, which isn't very often.
You're going to respond really well to a change up in your routine and a reduction in volume and full body. I think is the way to go, especially if you've been PPL for a long time. I do think someone like you would get a lot of value if you're still open to working with a coach, to having a coach work with you. And then the idea with the coach is to work with them for a little while and then say, hey, I'd like to work with you for a bit. Here's a goal I have for summer. But then my idea is like, I want to be able to learn how to do this on my own. I don't want to work with a coach for the rest of my life. What does that look like? So to give you an example, I had this was how most of my clients train with me. This is why I had clients for 10 or 12 years. They didn't train with me 2 or 3 days a week for 10 or 12 years. Initially they did, but eventually it turned into like once a month, or some clients had once every other month. They'd come in and let's see what they were doing. Some clients I just worked with through text here and there, but they were able to really be able to learn how to do this for the rest of their life, because you don't want to be left feeling like you are now, where it's like you're not with your coach, you feel a bit lost. Like, okay, what do I do? You have a good idea of exercise, you know how to eat healthy, but you feel like you're kind of floating around a little bit. What tends to happen with that is you cling to what you were doing before, which is what I heard. You're afraid of changing from this PPL routine because that's what you've done or what you did.
And I don't have a program because
exactly.
She gave me programs, so I don't really know what I should be following where I'm at now, like in the cut phase and volume reduction, et cetera.
Yeah. I think I'll have a coach reach out to you, Shauna, and I think that they're going to be able to recommend, which if you end up working with them, you get the program included. If you don't, I'll make sure we give it to you regardless. But they'll be able to recommend which program will be best for you based off of, talking with you for 30 minutes.
You've done an incredible job.
I mean, and your before and afters
is incredible.
Amazing.
Incredible. I actually just think you can do a lot less and get as good a results, maybe even better. Like doing less. Like that's what you've done such a good job. You've done such a good job building a great base. You've got good muscle mass on you. I think you are training more than you need to, and I think you can maintain and improve your physique with less work, a better balance.
Yeah, I think what you'll find is you'll actually get a better metabolic boost as well. I think you've done really well in spite of the fact that you're doing so much strength training, which is not just more than necessary. It's probably, I would bet, definitely more than what is ideal. So you can tolerate it, so your body's recovering probably, but it's probably not getting you the best results because it's so much.
And just to make note on that, not really, because I actually started like losing a little bit of hair, like more than I figured that was probably from a bit of the overtraining part.
For sure.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, Shauna, with your history, I've done this enough to know that when I work with somebody who used to be lots of classes, endurance stuff, triathlete, the battle is always that they always slowly inch towards the max they could tolerate until the signs get quite obvious. So I'm positive that a more appropriate routine is going to give you more time on your hands, but really you're going to get results that are going to blow you away.
The other thing I want our trainer to do with you too is to customize a priming routine before you get started, because of what you've talked about your hips. You should have a series of movements that you do every day before you work out for sure. That they teach you. So they'll take you through that when you go through prime and get set up. So that's something that just you pointing out the hip stuff, there should be a series of movements you do every single day before you work out, in addition to what we're talking about scaling back.
Yeah,
so
typically SI joint pain from bilateral movements like squats or deadlifts, typically fixable. I mean, I'd say probably, 9 out of 10 times I could fix that with a client. There's a 10% of the time where it gets a little tricky. But so this is and because you're fit and active, this is not going to be an issue. You just have to identify what the issue is.
Pelvic tilt part, does that stem from like hip mobility issues, would you say? Because I only recognized that when I started squatting in strength training, whereas in classes, I didn't even think twice about it because you don't really know what you're looking for.
Depends on what you mean by that. So what do you mean by pelvic tilt? Anterior tilt, posterior tilt? Is it asymmetrical?
It's when I go down to do the back squat, I have that curve in the lower back. Like it can't get down low enough. So I try to just stick to 90.
So you get
I can't go, like it tilts. So then I can't feel it in my glutes.
So you're getting some movement in the low back as you go down.
that could also remember
A little
she's
bit,
got her abs too.
Yeah.
Forget. So she could. She might be not. What might be happening?
Not be bracing.
We might not be bracing and engaging the core.
Could also be ankle mobility.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, this is all,
you can prime that.
This is all the stuff that you're going to go through when they take you through prime. So they'll take you through the assessment and they'll look at all this stuff, and then they're going to be able to tell by your squat assessment.
Yeah.
So
Not uncommon what you said, by the way.
yeah, not uncommon at all.
Okay, well, thanks, guys. So I'll give that a shot, and I really appreciate your time. I appreciate everything you guys do. You guys mean the world to me. I listen to you daily, so
That's awesome.
Thanks for everything.
And again, I got to say this: great job.
Yeah.
Like really, I mean,
crushing it.
Are you looking at your before and after? I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I know. I sent you. I am. I'm very happy with the results. I'm that type of person that always strives for more. And then when I see the fluff, I want that cut again. So just trying to figure out how to go about that. So hopefully you're
in a good place.
Yeah. We'll find that balance, Shauna. Don't worry.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys.
Good job. Right. Thank you.
All right.
Very good.
Yeah.
Great job. I like seeing that. I mean, her calories aren't in a bad place. She can cut from there. She's definitely leaner than she was with more muscle. I mean, I don't think you can ask for more. But just speaking to the coaches out there, you could be a great coach or a good coach, I should say. But your goal should always be, can I get this person to be able to do this without me?
Give them guidance of where to go after we get there.
And I know that sounds crazy, right? Because as a trainer, you're like, what do you mean? You want me to get my clients to stop training with me? Well, yeah, but here's what ends up happening. They stick around, you work with them less, you get more clients, you develop this client base that never leaves. It just looks different, and you make a real long-lasting impact. And then the referrals you get from that are just insane.
Our next caller is Chris from New York.
What's up, Chris?
What's happening?
What up?
Hey, what's up, guys? Great to meet you, and thanks for the opportunity to be on. Big thanks to Doug for getting me in. So, like Doug said, my name is Chris. I got introduced to you guys by my nutritionist and trainer, Anthony Castigliola. He swears by you guys, so shout out to Anthony. And I've been lifting and training for probably about 25 years, with minimal interruptions over the years. Last January, I turned 39, and I was the heaviest that I had weighed. So I was 255. I'm only 5'8", and I was approaching 40. So, I just knew that if I didn't get on track, it was just going to get worse. So I was also confident that I could do this because I had lost, I think, a little over 60 pounds when I first got sober back in 2010. I knew it was going to be hard, but I knew that I could get it done, right? And at the time, and a big motivator, and I hear you guys talking about this all the time, right, is I promised my 7-year-old son that I'd be back down to my wedding shape, and I was mindful of not saying wedding weight by the time I turned 40, which was this past January 15th. So, and you guys know this as a father of 3 young kids, like I just knew it wasn't going to be easy, but I had to make it work. So I started on my birthday, January 15th, and in June of last year, I was able to get down to 210 pounds just through my own programming and diet based off of what I've done over the years. And I just knew that if I wanted to get to the goal and I kind of needed to kickstart things back up and really dial things in, that's when I started working with Anthony. So at that time, I started tracking my food, focusing on 200 grams of protein a day, along with many other things that he had suggested. And then I also went from high intense cardio sessions down to focusing on just getting like 10 to 15,000 steps a day, which was, a great situation to be in. So, all that to say, I was able to get to 180 pounds exactly 1 year after I started. So on my birthday this past year, after being in a calorie deficit for so long, Anthony guided me through a reverse diet, which I was nervous about, as you can imagine, in the beginning. But, it really ended up being great. And I started the reverse diet at the same time that I started the MAPS split program. And last week I finished phase 3 of the program. I was weighing in at 195. So I put on roughly 15 pounds through the 3-month program, along with the reverse diet. Originally, I had planned on starting the aesthetics program once I finished MAPS, but MAPS split. But it was, once you go from that, I feel like it's really hard to try anything else. So now I'm kind of in between whether do I go to MAPS, do I do the split program again, now this time in a calorie deficit, or do I try, MAPS aesthetics, or frankly, any other program that you guys would suggest? So that's my first question. I got 2 questions for you.
Yeah. What are your calories at now?
So right now I'm at 2,500. So I'm making my way back down, but I'm still dropping a pound or 2 each week at 2,500, which is great because I'm 1,700 before. Okay.
Go to MAP Symmetry and stay where you're at with your calories if you're dropping body fat. But I think Symmetry is a great follow-up to split. Great follow-up. And you're going to continue to see results. If you're losing weight at 25, don't cut your calories. Yeah. Yeah,
That's exactly what he
said. And the fact that we're going to switch over to a programming that will be like a novel stimulus that's so different than split, that will help. That'll keep that going. That'll keep it going perfectly. We'll have Doug send that over. Yeah. Great progress so far, bro.
Yeah, good job,
great.
Man.
You look incredible.
Yeah, thanks. No, I appreciate it. It's been great. As it relates to the only other question I had, I think it probably still applies to the program that you guys are suggesting. I think over the 3 months, guys, maybe I missed like 3 weeks where I didn't get 6 workouts in and I got 5 workouts. So instead, what I did was I combined the leg and the pull day, and I just took like the core exercises out of those workouts and combined them into one. Would you recommend that I do that if like, life comes up, right? Whether I'm traveling for work or whatever the case may be. Would you suggest that I try to combine to get that 5th day in? And I don't know anything about the program you guys are suggesting, so I'll definitely look into it and look forward to starting it. Or would you suggest that I just pick back up on a Monday where it's day 6? Let's just use the split example. So I was kind of curious on your thoughts on that.
I don't think there's a wrong answer here because that's not that much a missed workout. One workout out of 6 days a week.
I do want to point out, though, this is one of the reasons why we're like such big fans of full body routines, and most of MAPS programs, even though we have a split, are full body for that exact reason. Because if we were doing full body, I'd be like, don't even worry about it. We're good to go. Yeah. See, and you're going to be balanced still because you're doing full body routine. Mm-hmm. So I do think that's something to consider, especially if that kind of occasionally happens. If it only happened one time, it's like in a year, then who gives a shit? It's not a big deal. There isn't, like Sal's saying, there's no real wrong answer. Yeah. But if that's, happening once a month to you and you notice that, like where you don't get the all 6 days in a split, this is where it's like, dude, like a 3-day a week type of full body is probably even better for you.
Yeah, it's not a big deal if you miss a workout, especially when you're training on like a high volume routine like split. And split, everything's getting hit twice a week. So missing one workout means you still get that body part. It's not going to really change anything. And to be honest with you, with that much volume, missing a workout probably is good for you. So, I wouldn't worry too much about it. But with Symmetry, I mean, you're going to be set. And it's less volume than split was.
If running a split program and so I'll tell you how I used to do this because I ran a lot of split when I was bodybuilding and stuff. And of course, even when bodybuilding, I would run into days where this would happen. And I would always start over on the muscle group that I care the most about or that I'm trying to progress. So if it was, so even if I did it, like say I did it yesterday. So let's say I ended on legs, but legs is my main focus. And then that week I only get 5 workouts in. And then technically it was supposed to be chest that I missed. And then I'm going on Monday again. I start back at legs. I always start on the weakest muscle group in my split, no matter when it landed, because I'm trying to increase frequency and volume on that muscle group to catch up to the other one. If I missed a week of chest, it ain't a big deal. That's one of my strengths, so I'm not worried about it. So if you have a body part like that you feel like you're trying to bring up, that's a good strategy too, is that anytime you miss a day, you're starting back over on that day always. So that's, and what that does is actually increase the frequency on the muscle you're trying to catch up. So that's also a good strategy.
Yeah, great advice. Yeah, I can do that. It's legs for me too, brother.
Okay.
So I'll be picking up the legs on Monday.
There you go. So it made it easy for me. It's just like, if I miss a day, hey, another leg day, another leg day in there. Yeah. So start back to that. That's a good strategy.
And like I said, I think keep your calories where they're at. Keep going where you're going and follow symmetry. I think you're going to continue to see progress with that.
Yeah, Doug will send over symmetry for you.
Awesome. Symmetry it is.
Yeah.
Thanks, boys. I appreciate it. You guys are doing great work. Appreciate the positive message. Keep grinding, boys. Appreciate it.
You got it, man. Thank you.
All right. See ya.
You guys think his trainer was Italian?
I was going to say.
That last name.
I was going to say.
I was like, oh my God. There's a lot of vowels in there.
Yeah. Is he Russian?
What's going on? No. So what people don't know is he was a college athlete. He's been training for a long time. And so he probably has this kind of genetic ability to handle a lot of volume anyways, right? So split is a lot of volume
doing all right
for most people, but he's progressing well. I think his calories could go even higher. I really do.
He can, but he's not in a bad spot.
No, he's in that. Sounds like he's in the Goldilocks zone.
Yeah, he's in a really good spot. Sounds like a healthy metabolism. He's lost a lot of body fat, built some good muscle. He's in a great place right now. I mean, this is a great example of too where people tend to overcorrect or overdo when they're right where they need to be.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's like he's cruising right where you need, but everybody wants more. More results faster. It's like, oh, so I'm gonna wrap this. Like, no, dude, just stay right there. You're in a beautiful spot.
Our next caller is Sean from Canada.
What's up, Sean?
What's going on, Sean?
What's happening?
Hi, how's it doing? How are you doing, guys?
Good.
We're good. How can we help you?
Okay, first I just wanted to say thanks for taking the time to hear me out. I know you guys probably get a million requests, so I really do appreciate it. I'll read you the email I sent in, and then I'll just update you where I am today.
Okay.
All right.
So I just wanted to thank you for spending the time you do, giving out advice, coaching, helping people to be the best versions of themselves. I've been listening to the podcast for about 8 months. I found it incredibly beneficial, and I've been able to relate to each of you on some level. I find your takes on life, parenting, relationships, and fitness inspiring and extremely relatable and insightful. I'm 41 years old. I'm divorced, father of 2 girls, age 15 and 12. And after finishing university, I landed up working in the family automotive business, and I've been there ever since. I've always been hesitant, actually, I would say, like more afraid to take risks and pursue my passions. I kind of like to stay in the safe zone and don't like to get out of there. The years sort of just passed by, and I felt almost stuck for a while now, for quite a long time. I feel like I'm my own worst enemy. I overthink, overanalyze, and as a result, I land up looking at the negatives, which has led me to shoot down a lot of my ideas before I even attempt them. I think this has become worse since I had my daughters and became a father, because I'm more extremely fearful of taking risks, and I don't want to jeopardize any of the security I have for myself or my kids. I suffer and have been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. I had a really tough time and I was diagnosed with that. I did the CBT and I've taken medication, and it's been life-changing. Fitness has always been a tremendous help, and it's become a huge passion of mine. I started working out in the gym as a teenager, and I've played sports, basketball my whole life. But when things got really bad with my anxiety, I found solace in the gym. It was sort of my safe place. Since then, it's become a place of escape for me. Over time, my passion for health and fitness, as well as I feel like advocating for mental health, especially for men, has continued to grow. And now I've come to the point where I'd like to try and pursue a career and finally do something with my life that I find meaning in, and that I can make my kids proud, and something of my own that I'm passionate about. After listening to you guys, I recently pulled the trigger, and you motivated me, and I enrolled in the NASM, CPT, CES, CNC, and the PES, the Elite Bundle course.
Oh, wow.
Nice, man.
Good for you.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what your advice would be with regards to next step. Once completing my certifications, I could continue with my current career and like build up a fitness career in the evenings and on weekends. I just don't know how to transition fully into a new field with a mortgage, 2 children, other financial obligations. And as well as I'm doing now, I know my anxiety will come up, and I feel like I'm going to doubt myself and put pressure on myself to kind of like stay in the safe zone and stay safe and stay in my current situation. If there's any tips you have just for believing in myself and abilities to go for it, would you recommend contacting successful trainers and mentoring with them, shadowing with them, and learning? And so that's where I left the email off.
Sean, we have to get you in our course. You got to get in there with all of our trainers. We've got 1,000 trainers in there. They're getting calls, support calls every week with our team.
Right.
It's an incredible community in there. So it's not just the course that you go through and everything you're going to learn from that. It's the community and communication that ongoing that's going to help you. And I can tell you right now, already just from the little bit of time we're talking, there's an opportunity for you to share your story. And I mean, I love the mental health angle for you since you've personally dealt with that. And there is a big need in the fitness space for men like you to be vulnerable enough to share that. And there's not a lot of people doing that. So you being you, there's a lot of opportunity for you to help a lot of other men in that space. And if you were in our course and I was helping mentor you, this is the direction I would be really trying to push you into building your brand around that, because it's authentic. It's you. It's you. It's what, and it will help a lot of people. And not a lot of guys in the fitness space. It's all macho. Everyone's macho. Everyone's got it together. But deep inside, they're all fucked up, and nobody wants to admit that. It's a lot of what the success of Mind Pump was because of us being vulnerable like that and sharing about ourselves. That's why it's done well, because there's not a lot of people in the space that are
There's
doing
definitely
that.
a stigma to it.
There's a stigma to it.
Sean, I'm going to tell you this. Look, there's 2 things that I think are important to understand. One, your fears and wanting to stay safe are valid because you're a dad.
Yep.
You're not just some dude on your own. You know, you can go sleep on somebody's couch, no big deal. You're taking care of your kids, but there's another side to that coin, okay? The most motivated men on earth are fathers. That's a fact. When you look at the data, when they talk about men make this much money, what they're talking about are married men with children or men with children. When you look at single men without kids, they actually make less than single women do. So being a father, yes, there's a responsibility there, and it can definitely be scary because it's not just you, but it's also extremely powerful and motivating. Now, I identify with you quite a bit with what you're talking about. The gym was my safe space as well, and it's some place I felt the best at. What helped me the most with that was helping others. So there's 2 directions that I would move you in. One, to continue to be able to pay your bills while pursuing this career. A big box gym is going to allow you that opportunity because they have a structure, they have a system, they have the leads, they have people in there. 2 would be working with our community. And now if you work with our community, you're going to get, so our course specifically teaches coaches how to build their business. You've got all the education, so you've got the best education. The NASM courses that you're enrolled in
you're good.
are the best. They're the best with education.
Right.
But for building a business, that's what we specialize in. And then the part that makes us different is the coaches that we have in that run our course are there helping coaches build their business. And they're teaching them how to do this, and kind of you get a little bit of coaching along with our coaching course to move you through along with this. And then one last thing I'll say. So I think helping people is going to help you a lot with your own personal stuff. It did for me. And then if you have a spiritual practice, the data is very clear. Nothing helps generalized anxiety like having a higher purpose, a purpose bigger than yourself, and a spiritual practice does that better than anything. I can tell you that personally, and I can show you what the data shows. Nothing comes close to that. So those are the two big things I'd recommend.
Yeah, because I have like what I do now. I'm successful in that, and financially it's great, but I'm missing the fulfillment. it's not fulfilling me, and I'm feeling like I'm stuck, and it's like I'm treading water and I'm not getting anywhere.
You're being called to something. You're already making the right steps. You already have a great story and message to share. It's literally if you were my buddy, I'm pushing you off the cliff right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shove you off. You're in the right headspace. You know what you want to talk to is what you should talk to. You're the right guy to talk to.
Jump in and build it.
Yes, I mean, as soon as you are in a place where you can get into our course, I want you in there because I 100%. Think that's what you need right now to help you with
an
this
accountability group. You need peers with you with this process, because really it's just that constant reiteration that there's definitely a plan and a way to construct this that's going to be successful, and you just need that constant kind of accountability around you to help.
There's two things that differentiate trainers that build a successful career and ones that don't. One of them is they feel called to it. So it's definitely a purpose-driven industry. So good trainers, successful trainers, the ones that really feel like I want to do this, I want to make a difference. But the second part is they understand and they learn how to turn this into a career. And it typically comes from good mentors or a good system. And if you're missing that, it's very difficult. But when you have that, it's guaranteed. It's guaranteed that you'll build a career doing this.
Have Ann call him.
Yeah, I think let's have somebody reach out to you from our team. At the very least, she can kind of give you a little bit more detailed advice. We have somebody on our team that's really, really good at getting people like yourself going in the right direction.
Amazing. Thank you. And I just want to update you. So I've done the NASMs. I've completed the CPT, and I'm doing the CES right now.
Great job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's huge.
I've also reached out to my gym. It's not a big box gym. It's like a tennis racket club. They've got a gym, but it's more like an older clientele. And I asked them if I could they were open to like an internship or just somewhere I could shadow.
Brilliant.
Perfect.
I feel like there's so much knowledge, but without practice. And I don't want to half-ass it and put like an Instagram profile, start charging people to train. I don't feel like
good integrity.
I want to first know. I sort of want to have experience before I go there.
Sean, you're gonna do good, bro.
Yeah, forget Instagram.
You're gonna do
right
good.
on point.
Yeah, dude. Everybody thinks you build your personal training business with Instagram. You don't.
You're doing the right thing.
And by the way, the kind of gym you just described is a perfect personal training gym. It's better than a big box.
Perfect.
Older clientele, more disposable income.
And I thought I could put the corrective exercise into practice there with that kind of cycle.
Yes, dude. That's where the business is at. The things you want, you have the right mindset, bro. You're gonna do fine. You're gonna be fine. Again, I'm gonna push you off the cliff. You got to jump.
And then just one last thing I'll just add is the one thing that pops up a lot is I'm 41, and I know you guys always mention that you notice when you're like 60 the gap between if you're physically in shape or mentally in shape compared to your peers. And I feel like I noticed that now, even in my early 40s, there's a big difference.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like I'm still in my 20s or 30s. Like I feel no different. But when I start going into venturing off into becoming a trainer, and I then it's like a double-edged sword. I start telling myself I'm too old for this.
Oh God! Hey, listen, can I just to be frank with you? Two identical trainers, identical in every way, except one is 41 and one is 21. You know who's going to get more clients?
Yeah.
The 41-year-old. Yeah, dude. Yeah. The reason why there's a lot of young trainers is because people pursue this career typically at a younger age, and they're working out, whatever.
People want wisdom.
No, dude. Are you kidding me? If I became a trainer now, I would crush my old self, even if I had the same wisdom and skills, just because I look like I'm older. So,
That's an advantage.
It is an advantage. It's an advantage for you, bro. You're going to be good. Okay. You're going to be good. I'm gonna have Ann call you, help you out with some things, share everything with you, and I hope to see you inside of our community, dude. You should. I
will be for sure. Thank you, guys.
All right, Sean.
You got it.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Take it easy. That's such a funny, actually opposite perception, because I've heard people say that. Like, I feel like I'm 45. Am I too old to be a trainer? Everything being equal, if you appear to be a middle-aged and fit, just the clientele alone will probably
relate to that.
Yeah, dude. They're, you know how hard it was harder for me as a 19-year-old trainer getting clients because of my age. I was actually a hurdle I had to overcome initially. And I did a good job of doing it.
Same.
But yeah, dude, you're now age is like, you actually do better.
He's on the right track.
Totally.
This is if he doesn't get in our course and he listens to this, Sean, what you do right now is what you're doing. Get done with the CPT like you did. Do your CES.
Yeah.
Go intern.
Yep.
Go intern. Work for free. Do whatever to get around people, to get around clients, to help people, to build relationships, to get good at your craft. Like that's number one. Number two,
Hone
right
in on
there.
the skill.
And then, as far as like, as I start to build my personal brand, I'm building around the story you just told me. What you just told me that you've dealt with, how fitness has helped you. Share that message. Be yourself. Be authentic. There are probably millions of men that are not openly sharing that and saying that, and that they need help. They need guidance. Go be yourself. Share that message, and you'll help a lot of people.
All right, I know you liked that episode. If you did, check this one out. Shredded, ripped, defined, single-digit body fat.
Yes.
You want to get there? Let's talk about it.
Difficult. And is it worth it? That's a follow-up question.
Yeah, first off, we got to say that, okay, so single-digit body fat, obviously, body fat percentages that can be represented by one digit, like 3%, 5%, 6%, 9%. That's ripped for men. For women,
add 10%.
Yeah, exactly. You go up about